Yeah.
Survivor's ready. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
The queen stays queen.
You said Russell Feathers.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
We have ripe bananas all the time.
Dude, my prize isn't even $1 million. My prize was that I fell in love in this game. Love at first sight. Her name is Candace.
You officially go down as the dumbest survivor ever.
Welcome to Not Game, All Personal Hate. We are a Survivor podcast here, talk about all things Survivor, more specifically the events of this past week, where we had to earn the merge once again. Luckily for you, Tony, I'm Nathan, by the way, but Tony, you don't have to earn your way on this podcast. You're already a co-host, so congrats.
Nathan, that means so much. I was worried, honestly, coming into this episode. I was like, am I going to have to earn this?
Nope, you don't have to earn it.
Do you still hate it as much as you have in past years?
Oh my gosh. I do. Okay, let's just get this out of the way, okay? Because we talked about it year after year. You have to earn the merge, which means everyone is at one big tribe, everyone votes together at tribal council, but 6 people are safe. Or 7 this episode. So they're not merged. However, next week it was hinted, like last season, they're going to split off into 2 groups. But that week they're merged. So, voting together, living together, not merged, splitting off into 2 separate groups, merged. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm done.
I'm having fun.
You still don't care. You have no issue with the semantics of this. Or are you just like over it?
No. I mean, I had fun with this episode. I think now that it's like an established thing, I don't care as much. Everybody knows what they're getting into. They know the stakes of being split into tribes. They know that they haven't earned their buff yet, so they're not technically merged yet. So I'm fine with it. I think when it was a twist, it was a little scummy, especially when there was the rewind thing. That sucked. But as is, I don't hate it.
Well, let me be clear. I don't have an issue with the way it plays out. Like the
you just wish they
gameplay.
merged and then had the 2 tribes. Or
Not
they-
even
the
that.
tribe swap.
Not even that.
Okay.
It's simply semantics. Call it what it is. You can't be separate in 2 different groups and call that the official merge. You can't do that.
Why not?
Because that's not what a merge is. A merge is when you merge together, which is what we
But
did.
the merge already happened. It's not a merge. In 3 episodes, it's not going to be a merge.
What do you
They're
mean?
already merged. Merge is a singular thing that happened. They're merged now.
That's what I
And
just
then
said.
Next week, they might split again and do a little thing.
But the fact that Jeff claims that 7 of them were merged and the other 6 weren't merged,
Yeah.
that's not how a merge works.
No, they were merged into a group of 7 that weren't previously together.
No, you stop it. Stop it.
And then the tribe just got larger and they merged another group
No.
into
Because
that group.
no, that's not how this works. If you have to earn the merge, then those other 7 people shouldn't be allowed to vote with you because they're not merged with you.
Why not?
Because they didn't earn the merge. You didn't earn.
But it's their rules. It's their game. They get to make the rules.
You don't get to change the English language. That's my point.
They might make it so that Jeff can vote. That's the game. That's the game, dog. That's how it goes.
If you just change the word of it, I will have
They
no
can take
issue.
away votes. Why can't they give votes?
Well,
That's
I
my
don't think they
question.
should take away votes either. So that's another
All right,
conversation.
then that was a bad can of worms for me to open. That's
All
on
right.
me. That's on me.
This episode was fantastic, though. I liked it a lot. Did you like this
It was
episode?
a good episode, start to finish. Very good episode.
Some might say a great episode. Some might say one of the best in recent years, and I'm that one person. Maybe more people. But I'm just saying,
I've heard more than you say that. I've definitely heard more than you say that.
it was great. Absolutely fantastic. Where do we even start? Because I feel like there's clearly one event that happened in this episode that is having everyone hyped up. Do we just jump right to tribal and get that out of the way?
I think we gotta. I think that's the energy. That's where it's all at. Yeah, let's go there.
Well, outside of people complaining about the half merge, which that's where the energy really is, let's be honest. But
What half merge?
for more casuals like you,
Oh, you mean
the
you
big
mean
move-
the first part of the merge?
the big move of the night,
Merge stage one?
you like broke up there, and it was even better because I didn't have to hear what you said. So we'll just leave it at
I'll
that.
say it all again. Don't tempt me.
So the big move at the night, we have a record for the most canceled votes in a tribal council.
This did set the record.
It
'Cause
did
before
set
it
the
was
record. It was
Wentworth.
Kelly
It
Wentworth.
was 9, right?
This week was 12. 12 votes. It was unanimous against Caleb.
Was it 12?
Why are
I
you
thought it
looking
was
at me like that?
10.
Mm,
No,
oh,
it was
actually,
11.
it was
It would've
11
been
because
11.
Austin did
It
not
would've been
vote.
11.
You are
Yep,
correct,
okay.
yes. But that is the record. In a successful shot in the dark, second time it's happened in the new era.
Mhm.
I looked it up.
Last time didn't matter. It was very anticlimactic. This time was very climactic.
Yes, true. I looked it up. It's been played 10 times, so we are sitting at 2 out of 10. So better than the 1 out of 6 right now. Not bad.
Yeah,
Not
honestly.
bad.
But the next time your chances are less though because of that.
I don't think that's how odds work, but yeah, sure.
Nope, it's not. It's still 1 in 6, no matter what.
But Caleb found himself safe, and in turn, Jay goes home.
And before being safe, just buries Jay. Just goes in on why it should be Jay. And man, they had some fair arguments, but his argument was much better and gave a clear target once he was safe.
Yes, it was absolutely beautiful. It's what you want to see in a tribal council. You know, like people complain about the whispers. It's boring if you know who's going home and they all talk all cryptic, but like to have someone just straight up call you out in a tribal, it felt so good. When he yells her name at the voting booth, I died. That was so funny. Just
That was
more
very
of
good.
that. I need more of this from Caleb. I don't know if we'll get that because I'm hoping he tries to play a little more safe moving forward, but like amazing.
This is one of the ultimate tests of the theory that you just need to survive one tribal. Like when you're
Yes.
number one target, you just need to make it through that night. And then you'll be put on the back burner. I really think that's true.
I hope
think
so.
he'll be fine for the next week or two.
I hope so because I
him
like Caleb.
Him yelling her name, the only downside, she was so sad, man. Like
Yeah, that's true.
depressingly sad. She did
Yeah.
not take it well. And so it like put a damper on everything. If it had been somebody who was like, "Oh my gosh, hey, great playing everybody." Like that would have been so much better, but her just like moping and then watching her sadly be like, "Emily, right? Emily, Emily, Emily." And then not hearing anybody say Jay. I was like, "Okay, Jay's going." Like they're they're making it look like she's making headway here, but she's not.
See, I actually
would
fell
say-
for it.
she-
I did think it was gonna be Emily.
Really?
I did, yeah.
There was one moment where Jay said to it might have been like D or someone like that, and she was like, "We're voting Emily, right?" And they were like, "Yes." And then they went over and whispered in somebody else's ear. It was like, "Why are you whispering in their ear after just confirming out loud that
Mm-hmm.
it's obviously going the other direction?"
Yeah. It just there was something to me like that felt poetic about Emily going on this one.
Mhm.
Again, glad she didn't. But
Yeah.
it just to me it would have and I think like it would have felt more logical with the let's target these people in the middle, you know, which was
Mhm.
a big reason why people wanted Caleb out. But I think Jay also makes sense in that way. But here's, I mean, the biggest mistake of the night is why is it Survivor 45 and we're still doing unanimous votes when we know how many advantages are out there to keep you safe? Like,
It doesn't
Just-
make sense.
especially because, like, if you're going in with this plan, weren't you aware that everyone was unanimous? Like, I don't think this is a, like, oh,
Mhm.
we think some people might vote this way. Oh, it's going to be a split vote. We need the number. Like, it was unanimous. All you needed was one vote, and you could have at least had a better say in who goes. Now, it was unanimous for Jay, so clearly, like, you know, unless Jay is the one who does a rogue vote, it doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
I just don't know why you make that mistake today.
Yeah, I think it's just fear of once you split the vote, it's so much easier for somebody to change the plan. So there would have been what 12 votes, 11 votes. Once you start splitting the vote, then you just have to pull a couple from each, and then you get the situation like the 4-3-2. that was because they were splitting the vote on someone else, and Tony's like, actually, I want to do this. Let's take these votes and do it this way. Like that opens up that door. But that doesn't change the fact that I think a couple people said, yeah, I'm writing Jay no matter what, as like, you just need to give her like 2 votes as a fallback option. And for some reason, nobody did that. Sifu said something like, "Oh, this vote is important. Like this is going to change could change the course of the season," and it made me think that he was going to throw a hinky vote, that person was going to get voted out, and then that didn't happen. So that was disappointing.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is. It's just fear of the flip.
Yeah, I think there's a way though where you can do that without including other people too, though. You know, like if
Mhm.
it's just Jay, like if she knows, like, hey, Caleb is actively calling me out. Caleb is well aware that his name is being written down.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's going to be unanimous. So why would you take that risk? It doesn't make any sense to me.
He's confirmed that he knows he's a threat and that he's nervous. Why wouldn't he play a shot in the dark right now? So why wouldn't she just be like, I'm gonna write down Emily just to be safe?
And I think too, like when there was like the split second where I thought Emily was going home, I was almost ready to be like, wow, she deserves it, because like, and I'm not saying she turned on Caleb, but like she voted for him. Like she chose the majority over, like, obviously she came up against a wall, couldn't do anything, but the fact that there would have been something kind of like, like I said, poetic about it, of her ally playing a shot in the dark, and because she didn't vote with him, she now goes home. But that didn't happen, and I think they'll be fine. I think the two of them will get back together. But big mistake from a lot of people who were in danger to not just throw one vote away.
I think I was a little disappointed because I wasn't thinking, and as I was watching before Tribal, when Caleb is like, Bruce has an idol, in my head Bruce wasn't safe. I forgot that he was a part of the half that had just one safety, and so I was like, oh, we might get an idol play and like smack talk with Bruce, like this is gonna be sick. And then just none of that happened because he wasn't in danger at all. And I was like, oh,
Right.
that was a bit disappointing. But that just sets up the future. Like it's gonna get interesting. I think the least interesting person who was in danger this episode went, and so I'm happy
Yes.
with that. And
Yeah.
in the most entertaining way possible. Win-win.
Yeah, and I will say, like, to her, again, she's probably very disappointed because it's everyone's dream to be on Survivor, so to go out is
Yeah.
hard. But if you're gonna go out, you might as well go out in a way like this. Where it's like, I wasn't the first choice. I went out because this person had a massive, play. I don't know if that helps. I would like to think that if I went out on a week like this, I'd prefer that to just be like, wow, I didn't have the numbers.
And I kind of liked her. But yeah, she just for some reason didn't connect with anybody. Yeah, it sucks to be in that position.
Well, the interesting thing about her too is it felt like there was like multiple reasons that people were targeting her. You had like Dee and Julie, who just never vibed with her. I think like they had their 4-person alliance. She's like, oh, she's on the outs, and that never made a difference. You had Sifu, who was convinced that she voted for him, and now that secret's just gonna go out with her. So good for Dee. But like
Unless Julie tries to turn on Dee.
That's true. That's fair. But like that's Sifu's logic, and then you have Austin, who's just still bitter about the sandwich, which I thought was the funniest arc ever. Like, just continuing to bring it up. He's like, yeah, she stole my sandwich from me. I got to get her out. And so like it just felt like on every aspect of the game, she failed relationally, without even like really realizing any of it.
Yeah, it was a train wreck. It really was. Just so many people wanted her out. She had no understanding of that. So, it happens. Game's the game. I was surprised. Dee got very defensive, and I don't think I don't know if she took it that she was being attacked in any way. It was like, hey, there's a trio here, and he was saying to Dee, it's a good idea for you to get rid of her because then it makes you look less powerful, essentially. Like, I didn't feel like he was going after Dee. I didn't feel like he was trying to change the target to Dee. And she gets super defensive and is like, blah, 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 blah. And she says she's Cuban for an excuse for that, which, you love that.
I think I get it, though, because, like, he threw out like a lot of strays, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like very intentional. And I think I think it's almost like unfortunate that he got kind of caught in that by like her calling him out, because he almost like got away with like just throwing out 3 or 4 names at the same time. Like where
Yeah.
like here's my target Jay. However, here are the people she's working with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he said that, I was like, "Oh, he's good." Like he is speaking to D while at the same time putting her on display for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's
So she almost had to
fascinating.
respond.
Well, I don't know if she had to. I think that's the interesting part, because like I think she knew what he was doing. She pushed it back. So I am very curious to see like what is their relationship like after this, or how do people view that? Like, do they view her response? Because I felt the same way. I was like, oh, I don't know if you want to speak up this much in tribal council,
Yeah.
even if your name is put out there. So it's fascinating, and it'll be interesting to see like, do the rest of them view like it as Caleb throwing her name out there, or do they view D as like, I don't know, a little too loud in tribal council? Um, but yeah, it got feisty.
Yeah, which you love to see. I mean, it made it an entertaining double unanimous vote.
Yes. Well, no, because
Technically,
yes. Is, is that still considered unanimous though? I feel like it is.
in Survivor it is because you can't
Yeah.
vote for yourself.
Yeah. Cannot. Oh, I mean, do we just start from the start now? Start from the starting?
Yeah, we do.
When we got merged, I'm trying to think if there's any. There's not really a lot to say from the fallout of last week of Brando going, other than Kendra being blindsided,
Mm-hmm.
kind of understanding. I don't know. It felt like there was nothing there, and it
Emily
doesn't
doing a lot of
matter.
apologizing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun watching Emily like acknowledge like I should be human in this moment and have emotions,
Mm-hmm.
but like she just
Mhm.
feels so weird. Like I don't think I mentioned last week, but like when they were in tribal last week and Brando goes home and she like turns to Kendra and like puts her hand on her, and it's so awkward because it looks like a robot, but like she's doing it because
Yep.
she's like, this is what a human needs. I need to comfort you right now.
Yep.
So I love watching Emily like learn to have emotions. It's very fun.
And I want to mention to this episode, Caleb said like she was so bad at the beginning of the game, and somehow she's just figured it out. Like almost reiterating the fact that she was actually that bad at the beginning, and somehow just turned it around immediately.
I don't think it's off the table that she's just AI at this point, and she's just learning. And the more time she spends, she's like growing her like knowledge, and I think that's a very feasible option.
Hey, I'm not here to rule it out.
I saw a good tweet. It's we have to thank Gabler and also Nicotine for Emily still being on this season. So
Very true. Those are two very important pieces to that puzzle.
but they go to the beach, earn the merge. They get split
Bruce
off
finds
into.
the idol.
Dude, he does find the idol. Oh, I forgot about that. Before they merge.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, before they earn the merge.
Last minute. I don't even know why they were trying to hide it from Katura at that point. She's supposed to be on their side. But they did their little ploy of like, oh, I lost one of my rings. I'm so angry. And it worked. He found the idol in the 10 minutes apparently before they had to dip.
They did. So he has an idol, which, as you kind of hinted, everyone will eventually know about very soon. Which,
Mm-hmm.
but even like before that, like I know he didn't tell Katura, but the fact that like he told 3 others, we are just still in this era of like nothing is hidden. Every advantage you get is out there, and even if it's only with a few people, that's too many.
But it's risking trying to hide it from the thing that he did wrong was he immediately targeted one of the people that he showed.
Yes.
Like immediately targeted. But yeah, he when you find it and you're in that big of a group looking, especially when somebody's right there, if he were to do this and go to the pocket, like somebody's gonna see that. And so you have to make that decision, like, oh, am I gonna try to hide it but potentially look real sketchy and think then they don't trust me, or am I just gonna let everybody know? I think I'd let everybody know in that moment. I really do.
I don't know. Yeah, I think. Well, it was interesting too because like the way their whole tribe went about it, it was like everyone's just looking for it. You know,
Mm.
like they agreed, like the four of them, again outside of Katera, but the four of them were like, "Hey, the four of us, let's all go look for this. We need to find this now." And I think
Mhm.
that's the interesting part is like before he even found anything, that was the agreement. It's like if we find something, the four of us, and it's like that's again a lot of people just include on this idol hunt, um, but that's
Old
modern
strategy.
Survivor, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they get to the
It's
beach, get divided up into two teams. I don't even remember
one
who's on
team's
what team.
obviously stronger, and the puzzle was not an equalizer, I would say.
No, although like the other team did make it to the end. It wasn't like complete blowout.
No.
But I
But
mean,
I think that was the
honestly,
deciding factor. But then also, I think they used the puzzle, the completed puzzle, to put theirs together because the first team wasn't able to destroy it because they needed to use it. But the word puzzle just didn't feel like an actually difficult thing.
right. Oh gosh, I'm trying to can't find a good list of who was. Okay, so here's who was safe. It was Austin, Bruce, Drew, Julie, Kendra, Sifu, and then Katara because Katara picked the correct winning team. So the people who were up for vote was Emily, Jay, Caleb, uh, D, and who was the sixth? Probably doesn't matter, does it? Kendra? No, Kendra won.
And it
Oh,
wasn't paying
Jake,
attention to who you
Jake,
were reading.
Jake,
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 Jake.
Jake.
That's what I was
Jake
gonna
was the
say.
sixth.
Jake.
Yeah. Yeah, and then from there on, it's just eventually gets to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Who were some of the most interesting relationships that you noticed as far as like, because there's a couple different dynamics happening. You know, we got like a reunion between Reba, reunion between Bello, Emily and Caleb kind of sit in the middle. I mean, like, what stood out to you the most as like a fascinating development?
I think that Caleb and Drew went back to Drew and those Reba people. I feel like that was a huge moment. And I feel like those are the people that he confided in about the idol. Which, to be fair, are the ones that didn't know, but those are the people that he like went to tell. He gave them the goodwill advantage. So I feel like they were definitely trying to kindle that relationship. Other than that, let me think. That's a great question.
This is a great question.
Do you have any in mind?
Well, I think it's it's interesting because there were some of them, like I think Bello, led by Bruce mostly, was like, "Hey, let's say Bello strong and then Caleb," which
Mm-hmm.
is fascinating that he would just assume like Katura is just in with them
Mm-hmm.
after. Like to me, it's like they, unless I'm wrong, but I feel like they're just publicly against each other. Um,
They'd still never gone to tribal.
right, but it's weird that like he wouldn't try to extend that, you know?
Yeah.
Because then you got Reba, who is not Reba strong. In fact, like the four of them are kind of still together, but like they're still like, yeah, Jay and Sifu, whatever. And it didn't feel
Mm-hmm.
like they were planning on voting together, anyways. Uh, so I do think it's interesting that you kind of had these two different dynamics coming in from the two large original tribes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no like loyalty or trust built up at all from those two larger tribes. I think, I mean, I've said I was a fan for a couple weeks now, but Kelly, seeing her and how she handled the conversation with Caleb after Caleb talked to Bruce and Bruce was like, "You need to stop talking to so many people." I feel like Kelly's just very very good strategically and socially. Like people trust her, people are coming to her. I don't think I would have put so much money on her not being the one voted at the last tribal, even though she was one of the half that was eligible. I feel like she's in such a great position.
I agree. I'm very curious to see more from her like with other people because I feel like that was the
Hmm.
one thing we didn't get a ton of. And I think it's because most of the storyline was like Bello strong. Oh, we don't trust Caleb anymore. Because like we
Hmm.
did see like her and Caleb seem to have like a pretty decent relationship. Um and on the surface she's working with Bello and I don't trust that like she's gonna keep Bruce around, if it comes to it. But
Hmm.
I want to see, like, will she try to build something with some Reba members? You know, and I think that is the question for most of Bello as well, because we just didn't get a chance to see a lot of that cross contamination, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get a ton. I don't know. It's fascinating. I feel like, yeah, they're just so ready for this Bello versus Reba war, but they're just not tribes that are. I'm very interested to see how it's going to shake out. I hope that there's like a faction in the middle that comes together and just wrecks shop. I feel like that would be the most entertaining thing to see.
Yeah, and because the way that like Caleb and Emily are positioned, and they talked about it, they acknowledge it. Caleb's like, I'm gonna be getting information from Bello, and Emily's like, yeah, I'm in with Drew and Austin at least,
Mm-hmm.
and so it will be fascinating if that continues. But I think that's already been like pointed out, and that was a big reason for targeting Caleb, where Bruce is like, hey, this guy's playing the middle, and
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but like Bruce was kind of right in that way. Like Caleb probably is the biggest threat for that reason because he is so socially positioned well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hope that you're right. I think like obviously Katura will probably break off as soon as she has the option. I could see Kelly doing the same thing. Probably not for the same reason, and I don't know if they'll work together necessarily, but like I could see different ways that this could be fractured. All while Bruce is trying to keep them all together. It's just not gonna work. It's not.
What? Come on. It might.
Can I
I
rant
think
about how bad of a player Bruce is?
no, because he's. I think we see. I honestly I see why we needed to have Bruce back. He's just so chaotic and so not good at the game, but so cocky about it that it's just such a fun combination.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. Like I like having him on TV, but like I'm very fascinated to see the first time that he's in danger because we haven't seen that yet.
It's gonna be a nightmare. Oh
It's
gosh.
I am so convinced that Katura is going to win this war against him. I just want it to happen already. I could be wrong.
They set it up so interestingly because they're both so like undesirable to work with. Like I wouldn't want to work with either of them. And yet those are the two options that you have. Or honestly, you should work with all of them. You should just dump those two and then pull in the Caleb and Emily. That should be the move.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just like something is going to happen, and I don't know what it is. And now that you got like Caleb also against Bruce,
Mm-hmm.
like does it all kind of work in together? And then there's Jake, who still needs to be medically evacuated because it looks like he hurt something on the challenge. He was like limping off. I don't know what's wrong with that guy.
Yeah, he seems like a big like gets hurt all the time kind of guy. That's the vibe. I got.
One of those people.
Yeah, you always have those people. And then he's fine 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Oh, we did see once again they pick out their big target at the merge feast. That's for the second time, right? They landed on Caleb.
Yeah, that's where
They
they
were
did.
just very outwardly like, Caleb, we want Caleb. Everybody was like, all right, we're doing Caleb. And then that's who they voted for. That's when Gabler was like, we need to get rid of Ellie because she sucks. And then they got rid of Ellie.
Yeah, I wonder. That is fascinating. That'd be a good examination to like look back on the seasons and see like, is there something when you have this earn the merge and you have half the people safe but still get to vote? Because I think like in Survivor, you never have that. At most, you win individual immunity and still get to vote. You never have this many people safe. And so I do wonder, like, what is it socially about this many people being safe all together at the same time that causes, like, this just very vocal targets where you don't see that type of gameplay in Survivor? Especially some of these people met for the first time, 20 minutes ago, and they're just like, yeah, Caleb, can't do it. Oh, hi, I'm Nathan, by the way. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. And it's just... Yeah, it's so wild to just so confidently announce it, and really there's nothing the rest of the people can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've made your decision, and you have the numbers. Like, that, it doesn't seem fair, I guess. Like, is that what you get for winning the competition? You get to remove someone, all 7 of you together. I don't know. It's just surprising that for 2 years in a row or 2 seasons in a row, it's just gone down that way.
Well, and it's like the way that, because like Bruce was a big one for it. And the way that he talks is like, oh yeah, well I got Olabello on my side too, so like we'll all be voting this way. And so I think it does invite those personalities similar to Gabler, where it's like if you have
Mhm.
those outgoing personalities who are maybe a little too cocky at times as far as like the numbers they got or their strength, uh, this is a situation that is just begging for them to speak up. So they're gonna
Mhm.
speak up. They're gonna do it. Like Bruce can't help himself.
You can finally name a name without any threat of it coming back to you that night. And so you're going to do it.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
And if everybody just buys in, then everybody can write down a name and nobody has somebody that's after them or angry with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's literally a freebie where you can just get rid of somebody and still not show your cards.
Yeah, it's like
Except for the 1 or 2 people that throw it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Especially when they're tossing out somebody who is supposedly on their team. You're just like, yeah, we can vote for those 2 if you want, I guess.
Well, that's usually how it starts too. And then
Mhm.
of course the other people, like Julie's in there, she's like, "Oh, sure. Yeah. This guy that I don't have a relationship with and that is technically a number for you? Absolutely. Why would I not vote for him?"
I'll vote for him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Same with Gabler. This girl who's on my tribe and supposedly I should be working with, you want to vote her out? It was like, yeah, we do.
Oh, Gabler.
Allie Gabler.
Who else do we need to talk about that we haven't? Do you got anything on
Ooh.
Sifu? I don't got much on Sifu.
He reminds me of a guy that I go to church with a lot.
Good, bad, or do you not want to say publicly?
Good, just like very goofy guy who, yeah, it just very similar vibes.
There
let's see, I mean,
is Drew and Austin, who we haven't talked a lot about, and all I'll say is it is crazy bizarre how high I was on Drew and how he somehow managed to just kind of disappear in a lot of these storylines. I don't know what that means.
There's something about him that I just feel like he's not flexible enough. He has his plan, and he thinks that that's the way to do it, and that it's gonna work. And so I feel like he doesn't have any like plans to do anything else.
It was even I thought there was something he said at Tribal, but I remember at the challenge too when they were split off in their teams. And like, yeah, obviously a lot of the bigger guys were on one team. And the way he kind of like said that to Jeff, he's like, "Well, Jeff, clearly we have like the physical advantage here, so like the expectation is on us to." And I'm like, "Why are you saying it like this?" He's just very like he seems like one of those persons that doesn't understand like, yes, this might be a matter of fact, but you still need to position your wording in a way that like doesn't make people feel bad.
Mhm.
And that's how he treated the Brando situation, and so
Yep.
I think you're absolutely right. Like, is he gonna be flexible at all? Is he gonna adjust? Is he gonna do anything other than the like, well, this is the correct move, so I have to do this move?
Mm-hmm. And maybe people will respect it. Every once in a while, you get those people who are just so straightforward that everyone's like, "Yep, that's just old Drew." But I just don't think he gives off that vibe. I think
Kind of like
he gives
Bruce.
off, yeah, yeah. Drew just gives off the vibe that he just like he's not even that he's like better than you or smarter than you necessarily, but that he's just not. I don't know, not interested. No, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. Give me a few weeks. I'll have it down pat. Unless he
Alright.
gets voted out next week.
We'll keep discussing the complexity of Drew. Let me just go through where we are with these advantages too, just because I like to keep track. The idols currently belong to Austin and Bruce. Drew has the safety without power, meaning he gets to leave tribal council, not vote. And then the advantage amulet is held
There's
by
one.
Austin and Kelly, which I don't remember. I think the second, I think this is a steal a vote,
Yep, now it's a steal a vote.
and then one left will be an idol.
Mhm.
So I don't think Kelly
That's
and
the only
Austin
thing
are
that
going to work
makes me
together.
nervous. Yeah, I don't think I think that's the only thing that makes me nervous about Kelly
Sure, I could see that.
is that Drew is like out for blood for the other people that, or no, it's not Drew.
Austin.
It's Austin. Austin's mad about the sandwich. Julie wasn't the one that, or Kelly. Gosh, I am struggling. Kelly wasn't the one that was super gung ho about the sandwiches though, so maybe he's not as mad with her.
Yeah, it could be. Because when he went back to camp with Drew though, that was like, Drew's first thing was like, oh, so we have to vote them out, huh? It's like, yeah. So I don't know. The fact that it hasn't
take
come
it easy.
up, and the fact that it didn't, like, even though they voted out Jay and wanted to, that didn't
Mhm.
come up at all in the reasoning. So I can't
Mhm.
imagine it affecting him and Kelly later on. I could be wrong though.
Well, like you said, so many different people had a reason to vote out Jay.
Yeah, there's a
Like
lot of layers.
Dee and Julie both had a reason because she was lying and saying that it was her that wrote down Sifu. Sifu obviously had a reason. They had a reason because Kelly and Austin and Drew, I would say, had a reason because of that. Who else? I feel like there's another one. Maybe not. Maybe that just feels like a lot right there.
Yeah, it is a lot. There's a lot right there.
It is a lot, yeah.
Poor Jay. All right, so who are you feeling hot on going into next week?
Who do I think's hot?
Sure, that too. Who?
No, what do you mean?
Like going into next week, now that we're officially merged, going into two tribes. You said Kelly. Throw out some other names. Who do you feel good about moving forward?
Never mind. I was gonna be like Kelly's hot. No, I like Kelly. I think I do like Austin. I think he's low key enough, and he's not the like strategic driving the ship. I do like D. I feel like D will be around for a bit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And dude, Caleb is just so likable and so great socially, and he had to play that so early because his tribe sucked, and so everyone's so aware of it, and so he fascinates me. I feel like both him and Emily, they're the like last two of that tribe and the most interesting at this point. So I feel like those two as well, which is naming half of the people in the game. But I did what you asked.
My
I'd
biggest...
probably take Austin out. I think I'd go D, Emily, Caleb, and Kelly are my most interesting.
I think I would say the same. I would replace Caleb with Austin though.
Okay.
I think my biggest worry with Caleb, and again, we don't talk about the edit, but if I were to talk about the edit, there's part of me that wonders if his story is now complete.
Yeah.
The fact that we got so much of him pre-merge, he had such a pivotal role socially. I think I just wonder if all the hype around him building connections led to this moment where he gets called out for being too social. I don't know. I could be wrong. And I don't think he's going to go next week. I think he at least gets a couple weeks now because that's, for whatever reason, that's how Survivor works. Like, if you're targeted and you survive it, get like a week of safety. It's weird.
I think the two tribes might screw him over just because he's an easy vote, though. If they do the two tribes, I don't know if they... It seemed
That's
like they
true.
did that, but I don't know for sure.
That is true. But again, it just depends on numbers, Like, if he's with Emily and they're with just one other person who, like, won't vote, because I think here's what I want to see, because clearly not all 12 of them necessarily wanted him out. Like, Emily didn't want him out. I'm assuming there were others. Like, it didn't seem like Kelly was completely on board, but they had to do it because that was the plan, right?
It's the easy survival vote.
So I do want to see where people have more of a say. I want to see where there's more options. Like, if Bruce is on the table, is Caleb a unanimous vote? Like, I think there's so many more factors here. Yeah. And I think now that they woke up and like, oh, wow, like for a lot of them, this was their first tribal council. So, well, not a lot, a couple of them. I don't know. Like, I think there's a good chance that this doesn't happen again with him.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think he's just been... It's so interesting because he's been so propped up as such a massive threat. It's not that people were just annoyed at him or something like that. Like, people are scared of him, it seems like.
Yeah.
I hope for a Bruce Caleb showdown though. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Bruce, Katura, Caleb, Emily. Who's another rando to throw in there? Kelly Tribe. They just split up into that 5.
Oh,
They gotta figure out who they're voting out.
they
That
don't
would
have to
be a
figure.
mess.
They don't have to figure out anything. Bruce is the easiest boot ever.
But Katura's annoying.
Okay, I think
Caleb's-
I think
Yeah, I think
Katura's
Bruce would probably be
annoying
easier.
to Bruce, and I'm just so interested to see.
annoying to me too.
Well, yeah, you find a lot of people annoying, but
True,
I want
true.
to see what it's like when she doesn't have Bruce like isolating the tribe against her, because like no one else has had an issue with her, and so like and clearly they all have an issue with Bruce, you know. So like
Mhm.
I can't imagine. I don't know. I think like she loses out on the social capital because she hasn't spent as much time with them. But outside of that, like I don't see her as being a threat to anyone. So
Mhm.
I cannot wait to see like how that plays out. So I don't know. It just feels like Bruce against everyone for different reasons.
Yeah,
I mean,
Bruce
there's.
against the world.
I
That's
think
what we were here for.
Bruce is like the only person where I'm very confident he's not gonna win.
Oh, really?
I think so. Like who else? do-
Jeff loves Bruce. We all know it.
I'm looking at this list. I think Bruce, Kendra, Sifu, Jake. I think I see paths for most other people. That's
Really?
interesting. I think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I guess I probably see a path for pretty much everyone else. It's hard for
Alright.
me to see a legitimate path for Emily.
Uh,
No, that's not true. I think Sifu I don't see a legitimate path for.
yeah.
Because I just think everybody's annoyed with him. Like he
We'll
won't
have
even have the like
to.
lovable aspect.
Yeah, maybe next week we should break it down. We should do like a 3-tier ranking.
Okay.
I feel like we
Yeah.
already did that because we have like 4 or 5 that we already threw out there. I feel like based on our conversation, we got Caleb, Kelly. Who do we say? Emily, Austin. Who was a D?
Yep, and D. I added D in there.
Yeah, and then I would say the middle is probably like Drew, Julie, Katura. Maybe that's it.
Jake?
I maybe I don't know. I think he's more bottom, but I would throw him in the middle.
I think he's bottom because we think he's gonna get medivac.
That's so true.
So if he doesn't get medevaced, I think he's mid.
He's not gonna make it to day 22.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then bottom is like Bruce, Kendra, and Sifu. Maybe I
Mhm.
don't know. Okay, wow, that was easy. We already did it. There you go.
We should in the future though, we should just bust out the tier list and do like an actual tier on the YouTube.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do though. Okay, so I'm gonna write this down, and then next week we'll just revisit it and see if anyone shifted up or down. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Wow, brilliant.
Bring a visual element and then add that to the YouTube if you can.
We can add whatever we want to the YouTube because we're on
You
YouTube.
aren't hooting.
All right.
Hoop, hoop,
Any
hoop,
other
hoop, hoop.
thoughts on any of these players?
No, I think I have surprisingly little to say after such a great episode.
It was a great episode with a very clear storyline, and I
Mhm.
think that's it. You know, this was Caleb's episode, and will he get another one? We'll see. But yeah, the episode centered around that. It'll be interesting to see them break off into 2 groups next week after they're merged. So,
Yep. I'm excited.
All right. For more episodes, visit notgameallpersonal.com. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts, really. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, at NGAPpod. That is at NGAPpod. I'm Nathan. This is Tony, and we will see you next week.
45 seasons, 2 friends, 1 podcast.